And it's time for the 64K compostudio, which, well, we've got tons of people here on the couches to talk about the 64Ks. We had 7 entries, and I am personally happy about the number of entries. It's much better than last year. Of course, we could have had more. But I'm happy. I think we had some major improvements over last year. Yes, folks, I have Kuroto, I have Branch, I have Urs, I have Umfu, who I am going to not pronounce his name correctly, yes, even though it's fairly simple, and I have Bob Dole or Navis of some group. I think nobody's met this guy ever. So, guy that nobody's ever met ever, I'm going to come to you last.
Okay.
Because, you know, you and I will obsess over things for a while if we don't go to these gentlemen. I'll just throw it out to the 4 of you. Who would like to give their impressions of the 64K compostudio first?
Of the studio? Of the compo?
Oh. What did I say?
What's our opinion of this
yeah,
show?
we can listen.
This is a great show.
Truck's brain. If anybody sees it, please return it to us here. All right, Branch.
It was pretty great. I think the quality was better than I was expecting for this year, so I'm happy with it. It's a really good compo.
If I'm not mistaken, you might have had something to do with 1 or 2, actually.
Yeah.
There was one that indicated that you might break some people's legs if they didn't do
Not
something.
really break legs, but I was just forcing people to do something for the 64K intro competition at Revision. There were some groups that were promising that they would release something here, but they didn't. So Logicoma,
conspiracy.
Yes. I won't say that. Kuroto.
Yes.
What did you think? This is your first assembly also, so...
It is my first assembly, yes. So, nice. About 64K, well, there were a few decent entries. Pretty nice entries, actually. And concerning the number of entries, it was pretty okay as well. So, yeah. Glad to see that there's a lot of people actually entering 64Ks as well. So.
Excellent. Umfu, what did you think?
Yeah.
It's also your first assembly, so...
Yes. Yeah, the compo, I also like the fact that there are a few entries, more than I expected. I really liked a few entries with some out of the box. I was impressed. I was impressed.
All right. Or,
yes. Yeah.
what did you think?
Well, some people may remember that 2 years ago there was no 64K compo.
That is
so
correct.
I had to learn Amiga programming to make an Amiga demo asking for the 64K compo. Having a broken microphone. By giving me a 64K compo, which last year was not too great, but this year it was great because it had lots of entries, it had different styles, it had great entries that really had effort in them, and I really liked it.
Navis.
Yeah. So I think that for people watching, they can see that the quality, the level goes up from the 1K to 4K to 64K. And usually what happens is that the organizers put the, let's say, what they think weaker entries first, and then they put the more complex, the more interesting stuff right at the end. And I must agree with their placement of the productions. I was impressed by the last 3. You have the notes.
I do have my notes. Yes.
Okay.
We're going to go, and Navis is going to go through my notes. This will be fun.
Yeah, because I didn't have any notes myself, I'm afraid. So
especially the last one, which just has the name of the group.
Yeah.
It's going to just tell you tons of stuff.
Yeah, no, I remember Adapt very well because I saw Adapt. I thought, wow, I think that they're doing a demo.
I believe they are actually.
And they did this too, and I was thinking, okay, let's see how different could it be to an Adapt demo. But I can see that Adapt did almost what they do in a demo in an intro. Not I'm not very convinced. I think that they did a couple of things I didn't like. Most importantly, this field of view transition, when it goes to really high field of view and then again back as a means to go from one scene to the next, I'm not a really big fan of it. And I don't like when you break the depth cues. So you have, let's say, a particle system and another particle system on top, and the two things are like in different realities, and suddenly they are blended together. Obviously, the guys are very talented technically, so I think that these few details maybe. I think they can really make a killer demo or a 64K.
Let me do this. Let me throw it over to Kuroto. Kuroto, the first one.
The first one, not really my cup of tea, to be quite honest. It lacked a bit of, how shall I say this? It wasn't really too exciting, if you will. There was, I think from a technical standpoint, it might have been nice. I'm not a coder, so I'm not exactly sure how hard it is to make things like that. But it was a bit, long-winded, if you will. So, yeah.
All right. How about the fourth one? Branch.
Which one was it?
The one that I wrote down, yes, this. Because there were some that had an excellent amount of humor, and this one had the best joke. Sorry, Urs. This one had the best joke.
I think this is the one that says
And you.
Yeah.
greetings, like and you.
Yes.
It was quite
And
good.
you, who actually has produced fewer demos than I have, finally broke their thing, and then they had statistics. What did you think of the level of humor in this competition?
Humor.
Yes.
I mean, it was funny. I mean, that's great that there's different kind of intros that don't kind of break the expectations of the competition. So it's nice to have that kind of demos.
I had the feeling it was maybe a Belgian contribution by certain people who like to break the barriers of what's normally considered.
That very well could be. We seem to have some issues with your microphone. So if I don't come back to you until somebody comes by to check that, that's why. Omfu.
Yeah.
There was a demo by a group called Pyrotech as the second one. Do you remember any of the Pyrotech demos from the past?
No, actually not. Sorry.
All right. Well, then, do you remember? Because you competed
Well, what do you
against
think?
some
Of
them.
course, I remember Pirates Day. Yes.
But as I recall, you were just telling me that you didn't get in here quite.
So I cannot really tell you much. Actually, nothing. I can tell you nothing about it.
Navis was busy swimming in the sea,
Yes.
which is
True story.
which actually is allowed because it's extraordinarily hot here. So, Branch, I'm coming back to you. You remember the Pyrotech productions in the past?
Yeah, well, it's usually I like their productions. This time, the production was quite different because they had to do a 64K, so definitely there was a shift in style. And I actually like seeing something else from Pyrotech than the usual heavy model-based like model show that they usually have. So this was quite different, but it was a space-themed intro, so we saw at least two intros that have space theme in them, and it's I'm getting a little bit tired of the space theme.
You'd like to see some other things other than perhaps Star Wars or Star Trek.
Yeah.
Right. All right. For myself, I want to give props to the Pyrotech guys for breaking out and doing the 64K. It's great that you've decided to try something different, and I know I've given you crap in the past for sticking to the same thing. So mass props for that. You did see Navis. Yeah. You did see the Freebsd production.
Yeah.
What did you think?
I thought it was very good. I didn't know about the limitations of the Freebsd, and you explained to me. Also, it's a 33 kilobytes, so it's half the size.
Half the size.
I can see what they did is that they tried to use procedural textures to generate the texturing on the planet. And I was quite impressed by the model and the shading, the fact that it actually had some shading and shadows. And there were a lot of small details in there. I mean, it's not a conspiracy quality demo, but considering all the other limitations, I think it definitely belongs to the, I would say, top three. I actually quite like the third demo, which is the wood, because it's supposed to, it was a funny. Did you make it?
Yes.
Really, very nice, very nice. Yeah, yes. I watched that one, and I thought that what it had, it was well rendered, and it had some humor in there. Some of another I think it was either 4K or 64K. I think from RGBA, which was let's say an object demo where it shows an object and it tells you things like it's a marketing exercise, like an advertisement. And I like that one, and I like this one quite a lot. Yeah.
You're referring to the RGBA 4K
with
that
the
had
pants.
I thought it was shoes.
Shoes.
Oh, shoes and pants. Yes.
It's a long time ago, a very long time ago.
IQ, we'd love to see another production from you.
Yes.
But just tell us a little bit about your 64K. Did you do it before, or was that this week, or did you do it today?
Well, I wanted to convince the people of Mercury to come to assembly, and we could finally release something here. They decided that this is too far away from Germany. So I had to do something myself, and I decided that I just do something difficult, which is wood. Because I tried rendering procedural wood and it just didn't work. It was blinking and aliasing like crazy, and then we came up with some nice ideas to make it work. But then the musician unfortunately couldn't provide a soundtrack, so only 2 days ago I started with the soundtrack. Having never done a demo soundtrack myself, I'm actually quite proud that it turned out okay. It wasn't the most stellar one, but it worked okay. And so, yeah, in the end I made it all myself on the Mercury toolchain, which is of course already providing quite a solid foundation to work on. And I just wanted to make a demo out of wood, because I'd never seen one before.
Yeah, I have to be honest that when I was watching that demo, I've never been as intrigued by wooden things.
I can no longer look at trees now, because I've been studying the internals of trees so much that it screws with the brain.
You'll see the mathematical structure of the tree.
Yeah.
I think I wrote down, yes, that it got wood, but that was a horrible joke. But I did like I did like your reuse in there of all of the different phrases. I think you said something like it compresses well. 4 times, or was it just 3? How many times did you say that you make your demos out of wood because it compresses?
It had different reasons. It compresses well. It smells good. It grows by itself.
There's another fellow who's on the couch who actually, I believe, had something to do with a production. Branch, would you have had something to do with number 6?
Was the Mako one?
Yes.
Not this time, because I was working on my own 8K for the 64K intro competition. Unfortunately, it didn't run on the compo machine, so...
So you have a few more months to make it work for, say, the demo party that's in November, but I can't remember the name of. Vortex. You have a couple months to get it done for Vortex.
Let's see.
There's a certain party in Germany very soon that probably accepts remote entries.
Well, it was supposed to be for revision originally, so...
I see.
The Macau, I think it was the best for me. It had really nice graphics.
I really like how they used to actually vertex geometry and not like ray marching or something.
Yeah.
That's very nice, and I've heard that they worked on it like a really long time, and it especially has that like global illumination, or like a rough global illumination. That this is very nice.
I like it because when they had the metaballs, it looked to me like it was some sort of marching cubes rather than ray marching, and this is something that you don't see very often these days. Actually, you don't see it at all.
No.
But this part that you say, Fairlight, agenda circling fourth.
Yeah, there was a scene in it that reminded me quite a bit of the running scene through Agenda Circling Fourth. I thought that was a nice throwback, especially since I recently watched Agenda Circling Fourth, and I thought how well that demo has aged. You just cannot tell that isn't one from today. And it reminded me of that. But Umfu, what did you think of this particular production, the one
with the Vortex stuff?
Yes, the one from Macau.
The guy running.
Yeah, I really liked it because it's what the something very difficult. You don't see a lot of Vortex. You see a lot of demos with what? My microphone.
Well, okay, we may have some more technical difficulties here. So we'll come back to Umfu in just a second. Navis, I'm fairly sure your microphone will still work.
Yep.
What would you like to comment on?
64K.
Yes.
Not that much. I think that if we had a killer demo from Mercury or Conspiracy, that would have been great. But as things stand, and considering that a couple of years we didn't even have a 64K, and considering that we had loads of 1K and 4K that had fairly good quality, I'm very happy. I think that I will remember the Macau and the Adapt, the FreeBSD demo that you liked also as well. Actually, yeah, not bad at all.
Excellent. Well, gentlemen, I'm going to throw it back to you for we have very little time, but I want, because just in case your microphones still work, any final thoughts on the 64K compo that you'd like to throw out?
It was a really good competition. I hope that we'll see more this kind of competition next year. And I hope that more of the traditional 64K groups also participate in this competition. But it was also nice to see that there were groups that you don't expect them to be making 64Ks participating.
And the compo was not scary by its quality to scare people away. It showed people that with a good 64K, you are placing well in this compo.
That's right.
And maybe Adapt and Pyrotech can go and do more 64K and leave the demo open for us.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yes. Yes. Did you hear that, guys? ASD's scared of you.
Maybe you
With
should
that
melt
note-
64Ks.
No.
With that note, though, we have several things coming up here in the Scene Lounge. We have an Atari 2600 demo show. You should absolutely not miss that. But before that, we have the 1K intro, or 1 effect compo. And with that, we're out of here.